Hey kids, welcome to the Monday Movie Club. Here we are, regular bat time, regular bat channel. Okay, this week is Mark's choice, True Lies from 1994, but this picture and behind Mark, that's from 2022?
Yeah,
One?
a couple of years ago.
Hi, I'm Frank Gaffney. Here with us is Joel. Morning, Joel. Annie King. Amy Goldman. Cringer was here a second ago. What did you
He's
do?
on the win.
What
He's on the
did you do?
windowsill.
Mark Wotitzgartner has a picture up. I don't know if this counts because it's not really from the movie, so
I
we'll,
wanted something. I wanted something a little different.
we'll see. Well, you got it. Mark, why True Lies?
Because it's the only time you can honestly say, "Wow, Tom Arnold was really good in that movie."
Actually, not. There's another movie.
Okay.
Well,
Go on.
Oh, you want to know now, or I'll save it till my thing.
Save it for yours.
This.
Well, I'm not going to say that. This one was adapted and directed by Jim Cameron. It's based on a 1991 French comedy, La Totale. Have you seen it, Joel?
Nope.
No. Joel, you're usually such a completist.
I try to be, but back when it came out, it was not an easy film to find, and I didn't care.
I wonder if you can find it now.
I'm sure you could, but I didn't bother looking. So
Okay. But it's pure James Cameron. The plot is absurd. The dialogue is sometimes painful, but the action is great. It stars Arnold Schwarzenegger as Harry Trasker, a U.S. government agent who struggles to balance his double life as a spy with his family duties. Jamie Lee Curtis is his wife, who gets dragged into all of this and inadvertently becomes a spy herself. Is that a spoiler?
no, because it's now a TV series, and that's the catch. So
oh yeah, that they're spying together, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Well, I was working at Fox when this one hit, and it was quite a big deal. It was the first movie ever to cost more than $100 million to make. And James Cameron's ego was just as big. It took 7 months to film this movie. Most movies take like 3 or 4 months. But no, Jim knew how to spend the money. And no one really came to New York for the film, so we didn't really do a lot of press. And we didn't even do that many screenings because Cameron insisted that it be seen in a big theater with people, real people who loved the movie. So this is actually only my second time seeing this movie.
Wow.
I know. And it got pretty decent reviews at the time. And more importantly, it made money. It was the third highest grossing film of 1994 after Forrest Gump and The Lion King.
Wow.
It made the equivalent of $368 million today. And unfortunately for Fox, it was only nominated for 1 Oscar for visual effects, which it lost to Forrest Gump. And it should have, obviously. Forrest Gump was pretty amazing visually. Okay, and there were plans for a sequel. There was even a script. But after 9/11, Cameron felt, this is his quote, terrorism is no longer something to take lightly, as we did in the first film. I can't see it happening given the current world climate. So before 9/11, we took terrorism lightly? All right.
Again, go back and watch Meet the Parents. And at the end, when Ben Stiller is on the plane, he's joking about yelling bomb. It was like a year before 9/11.
And then why is there a TV series based on it if we're not taking terrorism lightly anymore?
They're not quite fighting terrorists. They're fighting other spies.
And we're 20 years removed.
Yeah.
And of course, the home video. In 2018, James Cameron stated that a new transfer for Blu-ray had been completed, but he hasn't found time to review it. 2018, 5 years ago. Dude.
What the hell was he doing during the pandemic?
Right. How busy
Working
can
on
you be?
Avatar.
He's been.
I mean, seriously, Joel, there can't be any projects that you haven't put off for that long.
How about doing the dishes and folding the laundry?
Exactly.
Those things have to get done.
They do. they don't take 20 years for me to do, or even 5 years in this case. But I don't remember when the DVD of True Lies came out at this point. But obviously, at some point between the DVD's release and now, there should have been a release on Blu-ray of both that and The Abyss. Neither of them exist on Blu-ray. And it's been coming, it's been coming, it's been coming. He's been busy, he's been busy, he's been busy. And the rumor is that they are coming out, or at least True Lies is coming out this year, by the end of the year. Because the other thing that delayed things, it wasn't just Cameron,
Here we go.
his issue. It's that Disney buying Fox through a lot of things.
Yeah.
Yeah,
so-
but that didn't happen in 2018.
no,
So,
but they
yeah.
were still trying to figure out how they were utilizing the Fox library and what they were doing with it. They didn't do a lot of things with anything in it for the first year or two. So, and Disney likes to tie things to either anniversaries or other releases.
yeah,
So,
yeah.
Without an Avatar film coming out, there was no point in putting True Lies or The Abyss out. So now they have one, they can tie it to that.
Anyway, back to the movie. Okay, Arnold really is the perfect action movie star, and he knows it. He knows it, and he's fun to watch. And so watching the movie, first, obviously, the terrorists went to the stormtrooper school for aiming at things. Especially when Tom Arnold, who is not
Behind
a
a
thin man,
light pole.
yeah, I'm like, really?
That was for comedic effect.
Yeah. But Jamie Lee Curtis is great as his wife, Helen. She's easily, for me, the best thing about this movie. I totally forgot Charlton Heston was involved.
Me too.
Why the eye patch?
Nick Fury.
Oh, I see. Okay.
That's what Nick Fury looked like in the comic books back then. So
Oh, how funny. That's great.
That's cute.
I thought maybe he, shot his eye out. And then, with the slapping people. Really? And, how many shots were totally Arnold's double? And so obviously, good Lord, the double was probably in like a quarter of the movie. Arnold wasn't even part of it.
At least the part with the horse, I saw a few parts.
Oh my God, there was so
Obviously not
many,
him. Yeah.
so many moments. And then the whole bathroom thing, and the guy still sitting there in the bathroom. Wouldn't you pull your pants up and get ready to run out? No. And that poor horse, oh my God, with the elevator and riding through but that whole section was brought to you by Marriott Hotels, where you get a good food and good service at a fair price.
That was a well-trained horse.
That marquee couldn't have been any bigger. Good Lord. And I think, and also, I mean, all right, it's a comedy, right? Just accept it like your comic book movie.
Uh-oh.
Wouldn't that get on the news?
Frank,
Frank,
go
you
back
just
about
froze.
8 seconds ago. You froze.
Oh,
It's a comic book movie, and then 8 seconds ago.
okay. The poor horse, did you get
No, you said it's like a comic book
Marriott.
movie.
Just accept
with
it.
Ukraine.
All right, if the guy was riding a horse to the Marriott Hotel, wouldn't that get on the news?
It
Wouldn't
was.
Jamie Lee Curtis
was
see
on the
that?
news.
It was on the news. That's what Bill Paxton used. He passed himself off as that.
And of course, he overhears Helen at the office and just assumes she's having an affair. This
Have
whole
you never seen a
thing-
movie before? This is how it works.
No, the whole 30 minutes of torturing her and interrogating her, ridiculous subplot. And why can't she know what he does for a living? I don't understand that. None of this would play today. The whole torturing of her, it's like misogyny on parade. And all the killing. Is this the movie people complained about? Or was it The Terminator? One of them, right? They were like, oh, there's too much killing. And then in the next movie, he didn't kill anybody.
Well, there is no
Remember
next
this, George?
movie, so it wasn't that.
No, I meant, was that Terminator? And then T2? Anyway. Bill Pullman Paxton? Which one is it?
Paxton.
Paxton. At least he was funnier than Tom Arnold. I'm sorry. I did not enjoy Tom Arnold. I don't know how he got in this movie. He's just embarrassing to me. I'm sure everybody thought his ad-libbing was funny, but women can't live with them, can't kill them. Oi, come on. That's not funny.
No.
But so much of it is what James Cameron thinks is funny, or maybe what he thinks the audience would think is funny. Like when the fighter jet landed on the regular street and the camera panned down and then it said, no parking on shoulder. That's funny. And that entire interrogation scene with her went on way too long, calling her Mrs. Tasker. And it really was emotional abuse. And the movie thinks it's funny. And not only were they disguising his voice, but somehow they got rid of his accent.
Right.
It was all craziness for me.
Which reminds me that I'm going to say now because I'll never remember because I didn't take notes or anything, but it reminds me of the when he was talking to her via tape recorder. You can't tell somebody's voice on a tape recorder versus live.
Right, the French. And then he knew exactly where to fast forward to.
I know.
All right. And then and
Well,
Jamie
no,
Lee,
it was very that also makes me think that the tape recorder was always saying exactly how she was going to respond. And when she said, "I'm
Right.
not wearing stockings," I thought that was very cute. I think that's the one time I smiled.
right? It was
And
like,
that whole scene that went on.
yeah,
also
how did
was
he know she was going to be facing at him? Blah, 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 whatever. All right, and Jamie Lee's whole dance strip in that scene, it's a little embarrassing now. I remember it being funny, but now it's just a little embarrassing. Like it's a little much. And do people fly in the air every time something explodes? Is that
Yes.
what happens?
That still happens.
Yeah. And why did the van blow up when it hit the water when it went off the bridge?
Yeah,
I have that in
yeah.
there too. That's ridiculous.
Water
Because
makes a van explode?
In this case, the van had all the, the rockets and the nuclear bomb and whatever else was in the back of the van. So when it hit, it just had to.
Oh, of course. Yeah. And of course we had to have a cat fight between Jamie
Yeah.
Lee Curtis and
Oof.
Tia Carrera.
Of
What
course.
happened to Tia Carrera?
Terrible.
Did she have a career after this?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then we get to the whole thing is done. We get a final beautiful loving kiss, which really should have been the end of the movie. But all I kept thinking was Arnold was saying, I really love you, but I think I'm gonna sleep with the maid.
Ow.
Ouch. And of course he tried to do a tagline with that whole "you're fired." I mean, really. Not a good one. Please, Mary.
Hold on. He's known for bad
I'm-
one-liners. His whole
I-
career is made on bad
Some are a
one-liners.
lot more clever than that. You're fired. All right, so
Here's my invitation. That was a very memorable line.
yeah, better than you're fired. And then the movie really was like 30 minutes too long because then he had to rescue the daughter and it just was redundant. We just did the whole thing with the wife. Isn't that more important? Okay.
Yeah, I was pretty shocked when it said 2 hours and 20 minutes. And boy, you
Yeah.
could feel it. They were
Yeah.
so many scenes were way too long. And that whole thing with her holding on to the plane, the glass should have just shredded her hand right there. But that scene just never ended also.
Yeah.
Here's the TV series was able to tell that entire story of 2 hours and 20 minutes and 42. So
Is that the first episode?
first episode is pretty much the entire movie with a completely different plot, but the
Maybe-
basics are there.
Maybe I should have watched that.
No.
Yeah.
And the
No.
terrorists was just ridiculous. The whole thing was silly. Okay, but it certainly stands as a marker of how far the Hollywood blockbuster action movie had advanced by that point, and certainly was a commentary on the troubled state of masculinity in America and the racial attitudes. Oy. But it was fun then. Not so fun for me now. I mean, it really can't decide if it wants to be an overblown, serious Michael Bay movie or a straight up parody of the genre. It's no. So if I had rated this movie before watching this a week, I would have given it 3 stars from my memory, but now it's 2.5 for me. It was a little torturous. Aim?
Yeah,
It's
in
a
my
little
memory, I haven't seen it since '94 because I was also working at Fox. And in my memory, I'm remembering it as a fun, great movie, 3
Yeah.
stars. But I was
Yeah.
watching it thinking this is like the worst script I can't get over how bad the script is and how unfunny every single joke was, how long so many scenes went on. It was just ridiculous, and I was really disappointed. You're lucky if I give it 2.5 stars. I was so disappointed.
Is that your official rating then?
Yeah, I could even go to 2.25. I don't know.
Do we hear two?
So this is on the same level as the first nudie musical then.
Oh, fuck. Was that 2.5? That was 2.25, right?
Yeah,
yeah,
2.25.
All right, then
2.25.
2.5.
Yeah. If we're gonna base it on that one.
Yeah. I mean,
I'm
you know, so many cliche things that you think are funny, just like you mentioned, the guy sitting on the toilet. Of course, it's going to be a terrified guy sitting on the toilet pooping, and it was and then the gun slowly when she dropped the gun, and in slow motion it goes down, but still does the rapid fire and kills everybody. But of course, it doesn't shoot her. It's just like,
Of course,
come
it's
Oh,
on.
right. You would think when it
over
turned
the
this
top.
way.
Yes, it should have. I even said it as we were watching it. I was like, she should be dead 3 times over at this
Right.
point. But it's an overblown action movie, so of course she
Was
doesn't.
it? So it was probably jammed on,
Sure.
right? So it kept firing.
And I lost count of how many times they said the word bitch. Every woman was a bitch, which drove me
Yeah.
up a wall.
Yeah.
That's funny. That I noticed. That's what bothered me about it too.
Yeah.
This watching it now.
It's
more
it's very misogynistic.
Yeah, and
Very.
just cliche.
Yeah.
Fuck you,
Annie,
bitch.
but you watched it twice.
Yeah.
I did. I loved it when I first saw it. And then, I was at my father-in-law's, and the only thing they seem to get is either news channels or sports channels. They don't have like a regular package. And this was the only channel that was showing something other than news. I couldn't find anything, so I wound up watching it. But I loved it when it came out, and I think that I realized that I'm a huge action comedy fan. That I go right along with it. I that's okay. The gun goes, that's okay. I'm right there with it. I love it. The plane coming up and the guy's like looking through his binoculars and seeing Arnold, yeah, all of it. I'm just
Annie, I don't know why you're just realizing this. We knew this a year ago.
So yeah, I enjoyed it. It was funny. I thought Jamie Lee was great, like from being the meek, housewife and transitioning and, into let me handle it, Harry.
That was very cute when she kept saying, he doesn't know, just let me do it. That was cute.
Yeah, but I want to also comment on that ridiculous dress she wore that she ripped to
Oh
shreds.
my God. I was like,
And just turned it into a new dress. Yeah. Have you ever been able to rip, and that always drives me crazy in any movie. Can you rip a dress apart, shirt, anything?
yeah,
No.
the whole,
No.
With
And
clean
just remodel
seam.
the whole thing.
yeah,
Well,
I-
very
I wanna
sheer.
know
Those
why
parts
she
are very
bought-
sheer.
What?
I want to know why she bought it in the first place.
a terrible dress.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that was her idea of a sexy dress because she's so much of a housewife. And then
Yeah.
I don't know. I get it. And of course, it would never work in real life. Of course.
Yes, and only one tiny thread at the
Well,
hem.
at least there was one.
Yes, but yeah, I like it. It's fun to watch, and I like watching it. So it's a 3-star movie for me.
Okay, Mark, it was your choice.
Yeah, I'm well,
How many
let me-
times have you seen it?
Probably not in a decade, but before that I saw it several times. So let's call this 5, 6 times.
But not in at least a decade.
Yeah, it's been a while. That's why I wanted to, and I didn't love it as much, but I still I think it's just a mindset. Like I'm right there with Annie, and we often are aligned in movies like this. I could sit and watch this again tomorrow. The stuff that you talked about. I guess I won't argue against it, but none of that bothered me. The script to me was it is absolute fun. And I feel like
Did you make Danielle watch it?
I didn't make her. She watched it and enjoyed it just as much as me.
Wow.
I just feel like it's underrated. No one ever talks about this these days until obviously now that the TV show came out, it's getting some
Nobody talked about it because nobody can find it anymore.
Yeah.
VHS copy. I lost my DVD copy. It's not on.
exactly.
You can't get it on pay-per-view.
I got it from the library.
Well, libraries have old things.
Yeah,
And people.
including Frank
And
sometimes.
old
Yeah.
people.
yeah.
I think there's a reason that James Cameron can be a cocky douche, is because he knows how to make a movie that people watch. For me, there's an air of playfulness and a wink and a nod throughout the whole movie. It is, I know you said it's a parody. I think it's more of like a tribute to the spy genre, action genre, whatever you want to call it. I love everything about it. Not everything, I shouldn't say that, but I love the tango opening and closing the movie. The hold on, where's it?
Both tangos were fun, but both of them went on too long.
Yeah, agreed.
I was watching Dancing with the Stars. I gave
I
them an
love that.
eye.
I love that Stallone and Arnold regularly reference each other in their own movies, because she called him Rambo at some point in this one. I love the close-up shots of his eye whenever he gets angry. It was just so bizarre and over the top, but to me, I love it. The whole, I know, Frank, you said it was dumb, but the whole Bill Paxton affair subplot to me is what made this fun. Otherwise, it was just another, all right, let's go get the bad guy, whatever. I love that whole plot. But I do agree with what you guys said before. It should have kind of ended after the bridge scene and not have to go then save the daughter. That was, even for me, I was like, all right, yeah, it should have ended or been incorporated in that one scene, not go again. I enjoyed that he wasn't perfect. Throughout most of the movie, he's always he's in charge, he's the man. But when he gets in the jet, because it's been so long since he's flown, he can't fly it. He's bumping into things. And I thought Jamie Lee was perfect, and that they made a good couple. Lastly, shout out to that seagull for dropping the bad guys.
Yes, that was
The most
cute.
overly
Yes.
exaggerated explosion death. Yeah, but yeah, I forgot about that part until it landed, and then just the faces. It was good.
That was very
I'm
cute.
obviously going higher than you guys. I'm going 3.5 stars. It's not perfect, and I agree. Some of it is a bit dated now. I didn't enjoy the whole bitching. You know, it's not bitching, but calling everyone a bitch and slapping, whatever. But I still love it.
I don't
And-
feel you need to defend the movies you
No,
love
not at
just
all.
because they're crap.
That's fun. And it reminded me when you just said Bill Paxton, what an incredibly noticeable voice he has. As soon as he spoke, you didn't see his face. I was like, oh my God, that's Bill Paxton.
Yes. Yeah.
Bill Pullman's in Independence Day, right?
Yeah.
Correct.
Yes. But Bill
Which
Paxton's,
one did the show where he was married to Mormon ladies? Was that
That's
this
Bill
one?
Paxton.
that's Bill Paxton.
That's this one.
Yes.
Yes. But Bill Paxton's been in at least 4 James Cameron movies. He obviously
Yeah,
yeah.
right. He was an alien, right?
He's an alien.
Aliens.
Titanic. He's
Titanic.
in this. I think
Terminator.
Terminator.
It's nice that
Well, he
he
wasn't
can
in
give him jobs.
he was in The Abyss. Michael Biehn.
Like, it's been a while since I've seen The Abyss, so I don't remember. He might have been. There's enough minor characters in there that
Yeah, Joel, why don't you put that on your list for next year?
if it comes out on Blu-ray this year, I'll put it on my list for next year. Otherwise, because I don't want to have to copy my laser disc.
Look at my eyebrow.
Yeah. Okay.
That was another Fox movie. All right, Jolie, what?
Yeah, we
what's
premiered it at Radio City. That was fabulous.
Jolie, what do you think of True Lies today?
I've seen it a number of times over the years. I have not seen it in over a decade at this point.
Did you watch it with Mark the last time?
Must have been.
Generally speaking, I like action films, regardless of how silly or dumb they can be. But this time, this film really kind of, it struck me in a few odd ways. I don't like the structure of the story. I realized I really don't. I think, to me, the more interesting story is the wife's. And it would have been a better film had it started with, oh, here's a bored housewife whose husband is, a cold fish, and they've kind of lost the passion, and she's looking for more adventure. So she winds up, doing this role playing with this guy that's obviously, skeevy. And then somewhere halfway through the story, we all of a sudden discover her husband's actually a spy, and the whole thing was an act. That would have been a better film, I think, at the end of the day.
I think now I want to find that French film and see how they went about it.
Yeah, I don't.
You just reminded me of another scene that was totally ridiculous when she said, the plumber came and it was $600, and
Right.
then she was like, "Oh, I slept with him to get $100 discount." Oh,
Right.
that's nice, dear.
Right.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, a couple that's in love that has a lot of playful banter, that would work with.
But that's not how they played it.
No, not at all. And I think that Schwarzenegger's good at certain things. He can do the action really well. He can do the comedy really well, but the in-between stuff comes off very stiff. And there's a lot of in-between stuff that needed to be part of this character that just really came off weird. But I think that would have been a more interesting film. And the thing I find interesting on top of that is you mentioning the French film. So the concept that this is a remake of a French film is completely buried in the film itself, because it doesn't say based on a French film. It says, screenplay by James Cameron based on a screenplay by, the French Larry Moe and Curly. So that's kind of telling to me as well, because Cameron's constantly basing his stories off of other stories and not appropriately giving the credit that needs to be given, per se.
I think he does what's contractually obligated to do.
Well, yeah, and nothing more.
Nothing more.
The fun stuff is fun. The ridiculous stuff is ridiculous. Is it trying to be a parody of the spy genre? Maybe in spots. Tom Arnold doesn't bother me as much because he's funny in most scenes. He detracts from the silliness, and I love his line. Was it your first time being shot out of a cannon? When she's got the motorcycle helmet on, I thought that was funny. But Cameron also let him ad-lib like everything throughout the film, and then picked whatever he felt was the best line of all the takes. So
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Sorry. Doesn't work for me.
That's okay. His best film is still The Stupids. And I might put that on my list at some point. So be prepared.
Be prepared.
I don't know what else to say about it. It's fun. It's dated. I don't know. It's not a movie that I'll be like in the next 10 years. I haven't seen True Lies in a while. I should watch that. I'll mention that the set design was by Peter Lamont, who did most of the James Bond films from the 80s on.
Wondered why you were going there. I'm like,
yes,
what?
that's why I'm going, because it's a spy film, so spies are like. And also, you mentioned the horse going through the hotel. That was actually shot at 2 different hotels. The elevators are at a different hotel than the rest of the hotel.
And then, of course, at the very end of the movie, it said everything was supervised by the Humane Society. I'm like, still, that poor horse.
And it's been a while since I read it, but I believe Schwarzenegger was almost killed during that. He was almost thrown from the
he
horse.
got almost thrown off the
trivia.
ledge. But watching it did lead me to go, you know what, let's try the TV series and see what that's all about. And my general thing is, if I'm going to watch a show, I'll give it three chances. The pilot took the basic premise of the movie, condensed it down to 42 minutes, and still wasn't very good. But I was like,
yeah,
right.
But also it takes so much to set up a whole series.
Exactly.
So I agree with you. It takes 2 or 3 episodes to say, okay, maybe not.
Right.
Yeah.
But there have been other shows, Joel, where they don't find their voice till the end of the season. And you're
of course. Well, it was like with Clarice, which was the Silence of the Lambs TV series. That took like 5 or 6 episodes to finally show us where it was going. And at that point, I was like, this is actually brilliant. I don't see this becoming brilliant. There's a couple of interesting things between the pilot and the second episode. There's a next door neighbor to the Traskers who actually works for the Omega Man Society effect, whatever it is. So she's like, when the parents are away on a spy mission, she's watching the kids, but not like watching them as in babysitting. And she's literally got cameras set up and she's reporting back to the parents, oh, this 17-year-old in a yellow Mustang showed up. And say, all right, that's kind of interesting, but it didn't do much with it. Anyway, Back to the movie itself. I'm going to give it 3 stars, a grudging 3 stars at this point. One other thing I thought, two other things I quickly mentioned. Mark, you mentioned Schwarzenegger and Stallone kind of mentioning each other in their films, and this is not that in my book, because Rambo First Blood Part 2 was written by James Cameron. So that's a Cameron throwaway line.
Oh, how funny.
And the whole, I have to wonder if the name of their spy organization, the Omega Agency, I don't remember what the fuck they called it, but if they're going to have Charlton Heston at the head of it, it's obviously named after the Omega Man. So,
That's funny.
but anyway, yeah, that's where I'm at. I'll shut up now.
That's
As a
okay,
quick,
Joe. We actually look forward to your pontifications.
as a quick aside, we just happened to watch Game Night. It's a movie with Jason Bateman last
Yes.
night.
It's
And
a cute
in there, we had seen it once before, but we watched it last night. We thoroughly enjoyed. And there's a line in there where the Mimbo, one of his friends who's kind of an idiot, he tells people that he works for Cyberdyne Systems, which is
Yes,
Why does that word sound familiar, Cyberdyne?
Terminator.
because that's the
Yes.
name
Oh,
of Terminator.
okay.
Yeah. So
I'm
James
like, I know
Cameron wrote
that name,
too.
I just don't know why.
Yeah.
I talk too loud. Sorry, I offended you.
All right, so True Lies is available on IFC on demand, I guess. AMC Plus has an edited version of it. Why would they edit the movies when
Again,
it's a subscription?
Because if they showed it on AMC, they're going to put the same thing you would see on
Yes.
AMC on their streaming
Yes.
service, and they don't play nudity or cursing on AMC.
But you think if you're streaming it, then you could see those things.
It's probably easier for Disney to have sent them the edited version.
Right. What they licensed
Yeah.
already.
That's the end of
I
it.
still disagree. It's if you watch the Food Network and you stream the Food Network, you're going to see the same thing. If you don't see it on the regular station, you're not going to see it on.
No, I'm agreeing with you, Mark. Yeah,
Oh,
what
okay.
I'm saying is Disney would have sent them the edited version because that's what they're going to play on the channel, and then it just winds
And
up.
And that's all they had.
That's all they had. Yeah,
Well, I think it sucks.
I would agree. But
Yeah.
Okay, well, it's not available for rent or purchase, but my library had a copy, so you're welcome, Aim. Next time, Tom Hanks' breakthrough role in Big 1988, which is available to stream on Disney or Hulu if you subscribe to those services, or you can rent it from Prime or Vudu, or get it from your local. I just realized that was Voodoo, Voodo. That's funny. I don't know what I thought I was saying before. Voodoo. All right. Or you can get it from your local library. Of course, it's in my collection.
Mine too.
thank
All
you.
right. Anything else, folks? Are we done? All right. I'm Frank Gaffney. Go watch a movie. Watch Big, because that's a great movie.
And also with you.